Hey, welcome back to the studio.
Hey, great to be here.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. It's been a hot minute.
It has been a hot minute.
Yeah.
How you been?
Good.
World's becoming a crazy place.
Whew, that it is.
Well, fortunately,
Let's not talk about
we're
all
not
the
that
crazy.
kind of podcast.
Let's not talk about all the crazy in the world. Yeah,
Let's
we
not.
could do with less of that.
Well, quick introductions. It's been a while. Who
Okay.
are you?
I'm Becky, one of the peas in a pod.
Hi, Becky.
Who are you?
Hi, my name's Robbie. I'm the other pea
In the pod?
in the pod. We are here because we have spent close to 20 years, maybe more now. Let's not count.
25.
On leadership development.
Yeah.
I've worked with you on and off for the last at least decade.
Yeah. Wow.
And
It's been that long, huh?
it has been that long. And what's interesting about you and I is we have cultivated, I think, a different type of performance leadership process and system.
Mm-hmm.
And I've witnessed you achieve remarkable results while treating teams with respect and development and all the neat things instead of just drive and force. And so...
And I learned all my best stuff from you.
I don't agree, but I do think we've learned quite a bit together, and this is just a project for fun and for sharing. So if you're out there and you want to listen, that's what we do, and happy to engage in comments. So thanks for hanging in there, and we'll get started. What did you want to talk about today, Becky?
Well, actually, today we're going to talk about you.
Oh, my most comfortable thing to do.
Aren't we all? Isn't that funny how leaders are not comfortable talking about themselves? Yeah. But we're going to do it.
All right, let's do it.
We're going to dive in because I think you started something last year that I'm intrigued by, one. And two, I find it very interesting and meaningful. I feel like it had impact for both you and the people that you were working with last year. And I think, are you continuing it this year?
I am continuing it this year.
Awesome. So we're going to talk about the marbles.
The marbles.
All the marbles.
The marbles.
The marbles. So let's start with, tell us about the marbles.
If you're on my leadership team or you associate regularly with my leadership team and my staff, I purchase everybody a copy of the Daily Reader.
John Maxwell's
John Maxwell.
Daily Reader. And I started doing this for my coaching clients as well, and they love it.
Yeah, it's a really neat. I don't read it every day, full confession. I read it when I need it.
Yeah.
And it is.
And when somebody says, it's a really good one today.
And when somebody sends me a text in the morning and says, did you read your Maxwell today? But it's oddly, it gives you the right inspiration at the right time. It's just a quick read. It's a one-page excerpt out of the multitude of different leadership books that are out there. And it's a home run hitter.
For me, I actually have started, I've been really trying hard to journal on a daily basis.
Nice.
And I started with reading the Maxwell for inspiration. My difficulty in journaling has always been like, get started. Because again, I don't like talking about me. And even when I'm just putting it into a journal, I don't like talking about me.
I bet you could use Chat GPT for that.
I probably could, but I use the Maxwell Daily Reader. And so my routine is, when I'm ready to start my journaling in the morning, I do the reader and I use that to inspire what I'm going to put into my journal for the day.
Now, the reason I bring up the Maxwell at all is I had a former colleague in a past life that had a favorite passage in there. If you had a jar full of marbles and each marble represented a day of your life, there's not going to be more marbles in there. There's not going to be less. When the marbles are out, it's out. How would you spend each marble or each day, and would it change your intent with how you expense your days?
Interesting.
And I might be misquoting it, but that's how I've always understood it.
It's the premise.
And, the world is a stressful place right now. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of things happening. And I have 2 teenage sons that are working on their rite of passage, and the world sometimes gets heavy. And I frequently just self-reflect. And am I still establishing and being the leader that I want to? What do I need to fix? What do I need to do better? um, how do I be a better father in the next chapter of my son's lives? How do I continue to progress and fill my station? So I was reflecting actually on former colleagues and former friends and, things that they held dear. And that just kind of always stuck with me. And so I started thinking about it. And I said, what if I bought 365 marbles for next year? And this is right at the end of 2024. And I was like, I could put those in my office. And I didn't really have a system, but so in December, I ordered a bulk order of marbles that showed up. My wife thought I'd lost
Your marbles.
my marbles. And
Rightfully so.
and odd things happen at odd times. So now I have this big box of marbles and I'm like, well, geez, what do I do with these marbles? So I went to Target and on their clearance rack, they had this weird 4 carafe glass set with these nice wood
Interesting.
lids.
Yeah.
And it fit like came as a kit. The 365 marbles fit perfectly in the large basin. And then there's a small one, which I dubbed for bad days. A medium-sized one, which I dubbed for excellent days. And then kind of the middle of the road one, which was the largest container, which I labeled as my good day. And so starting January 1, every day that I'd go into my office, I'd retrieve a marble. I wouldn't look because they're different shapes and sizes, and I didn't want to predict my day. So I'd just reach in, grab a marble, and say a quick prayer on my marble and put myself to what type of day I wanted that marble to represent. So I'd keep that in my pocket.
Carry the marble with you all day long. You have one today.
I have a marble in my pocket.
Ah, look.
And so I just started this, how do I be more intentional with my energy? How to be more intentional with my impact on others? And how do I be more intentional on cultivating the environment for a good day? Sometimes get lucky enough for a great day.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, more than diets, more than working out, more than savings, I didn't miss. Now,
Didn't miss a day.
I did change it a little bit this year. I didn't go into my office to retrieve a marble on the weekends.
Okay.
So I did have to adjust my marble count as the year went on because
Sure.
I didn't carry a marble around with me every weekend. But every morning I'd go into the office and the first thing I'd do before I'd put the coffee on for my team, I would
Get a marble.
deposit yesterday's marble.
Yeah.
So I'd carry that back into work with me and think about it, put it in the right spot,
Yeah.
and then retrieve my new marble, reflect,
Interesting.
say my prayer, and focus my energy.
Yeah. So great. It's a great concept. I so appreciate you sharing this because I know that several times during the course of last year, you shared some specific stories about the marbles, which we're going to get to. But let's just talk a little bit for a second around when you place that marble into the tray from your prior day. How do you know which tray it's going in?
Well, just a quick reflection. Did I maintain the conversations the way that I wanted to? Did I take on difficulties by controlling who I wanted to be? Did I let the world affect me or did I affect the world?
Yeah.
And honestly, and I don't know that we let ourselves do this, but how did I feel?
Yeah.
Did I feel good? Do I feel good about the decisions? Do I feel good about the direction? Or was it exceptional? Every now and again, the bat connects and the ball goes over the long fence. Yeah. And sometimes I had to talk myself into those. I'm my own worst critic.
As we all are.
I'm a harsh judge. I can remember a couple, negotiations went well. In a couple spots, negotiations went poorly. Didn't mean it was necessarily a bad day. How did I conduct myself?
Yeah.
And did I operate in the way that I wanted to?
Yeah. Interesting. Good day is one of the things that we talk about often in our leadership methodology. And, a core tenet of what we do is trying to help people have good days. So tell me how good days impacted the rest of your team last year and how that marble project for you, it was a very personal reflection, but how do you think that impacted others?
Well, That's a great question. As you're aware, some of our listeners might not be. You can't force a good day.
You cannot.
Try going into your team and the first thing, yell at everybody and say, "Have a good day today," and see what happens.
It works wonderfully.
It does. It works interestingly.
Yeah.
And so the reality is what you're doing to have a good day for yourself and your team is working on an environment where a good day is possible.
Okay.
So if you're focusing that energy, what I find, and the marble is just the trinket, but it allows for that pause in your day to put specific thought in it. But if you're thinking about what do I need to do today to create the right environment, and probably all of us do the same thing in the morning as we're cooling our coffee off enough to drink, as we look at our calendars and see where we're booked and double booked and the things we want to do and the things we don't want to do. And when you're focusing on your intent, how do I create a good environment? You can look and see, oh man, that's going to be a tough meeting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotion in that meeting. There's a lot of politics in that meeting. How do I control myself? How do I control my energy? How do I contribute to an environment of construction? So this isn't a long event.
No.
But what I've found is putting it before I probably put zero energy.
Yeah.
This was a very focused event
You just got started on your day.
on how am I going to proceed.
And so I'll just dissect some of what I heard and what resonates with me, because I think there are two really important components of leadership in what you have shared. So one, the intentionality of how you're going to go about your day, and the fact that you're pausing, because that's a choice that we get to make. And I think sometimes we don't make that choice, and we don't look at our day that way because it gets started and it's hectic and it's crazy and all of the things happen. And what you're doing, which I find really interesting and I think really a valuable skill as a leader, is starting with intentionality. We all know New Year's resolutions get thrown out the window and things can happen where we lose that intentionality in what we're trying to do. And I think by doing it on a cadence of every day, I'm starting my day with intention to have a good day, your odds are going to be better that you did. So I think that's one. But the second piece that I find missing a lot in leadership, which I think this really brings to bear, is that you're also focusing on emotional intelligence factor of self-reflection and how did I do with that intention? So my intentionality is set. How did I do? How am I evaluating myself in that space? And that's something that is lost in leadership. I think in a lot of spaces, we get, again, wrapped up in the very hectic nature of lives, and we don't stop to reflect, what could I have done better? And so I think for those, excuse me, I think for those two very important reasons, it's a really awesome story and an awesome approach, which I imagine resonates really well with your team. I'm just envisioning that it does.
Well, before we get to my team,
Yeah.
it took on a life of its own. Connections to what you're saying. And I remember very specifically, I'll give you two different examples. We walked into a meeting that unexpectedly was very hostile. We had some support departments from some other teams that came in angry. I don't even know that they were angry at us.
Yeah.
But they
just
were
angry.
And the tone of the meeting immediately was, and I'm a fighter. I just,
by the nature of it.
by my nature and uncoached, if
Sometimes
the
we'll talk
stronger
about the scorpion
resistance,
and the frog.
the stronger the resistance, the stronger
Yeah.
the attack. And I know that about me, and I work on it all the time.
Yeah.
And you know me, what I work on is not reciprocating the energy of the room.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And this was one of those moments, and I could just feel my dander. I don't know what to call it. You know, like, oh man. And
you were puffing your chest out a little bit.
Instead of, I leaned back, I reached in my pocket, I pulled my marble out, and I put it on my keyboard.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, these people are not taking my marble today.
Yeah. Interesting.
And instead of just having it in my pocket, I literally put it
See it.
into a focal point for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've kind of developed a habit when I need it.
That's okay.
I hold it in my hand. And I remember very specifically, it was the first time, it was early in the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I extracted it from my pocket. And I told myself, the energy in this room,
Mm-hmm.
I won't name names, but I did in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
They are not, my marble's more important than that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let them take my energy. And now, you mentioned my team. That was one of probably the first moments where we walked out and I got a compliment from some of my team on, I cannot believe you didn't, you stayed
Scorched
so calm. And, you handled that so well. I was so, and
that's awesome.
And it was just being able to focus on where do I want to deposit this tomorrow? And right now is my time for input.
Yeah.
And so it was just a really nice fidget toy, I guess, to be able to just center my thoughts around the outcome I actually wanted rather than let the emotion of the moment dictate the momentum.
That's so interesting. So I know that there are additional stories because you had shared some of them with me. And, I want to be conscious of time. We're trying to keep our 20 minutes. So pick out one of those stories that was really moving in how it impacted others.
Well, later in the year, so my team was aware of
the marbles
and my focus and the crafts that I don't know if that's the right word, but the containers.
Yeah.
All my team, I have a conference room in my office and I have a little coffee station and they just sit there. And so, people would start to ask, hey, where'd yesterday's marble go? Was kind of a tough meeting. Anyway, so later in the year, I had a team member come in and in a very, work structure way, let me know that she was going to have to miss some time because she had a cancer scare and she had to go in for her screen and get her results and was really emotional and just kind of dutifully letting me know as her boss. And I'll be honest, that's always a tough spot. I've lost multiple team members to cancer. I don't know how to react.
Yeah.
It makes me more emotional than it should as a boss. And I know it's just a courtesy information, so I know why they're leaving.
Yeah. It's hard.
It is hard. And she was emotional. I was trying super hard not to be emotional. And it was the only time that I did it for the whole year. But I reached into my pocket and I grabbed my marble and I gave it to her. And I said, I want you to have my energy today. I want you to have my focus. I want this to go with you. And I thought she was just going to be mad.
Yeah.
Like, you corny, whatever, and it became a very impactful thing.
Huh.
And I know because she told me, but she took it with her and she had it, whatever. And then later I was in her office and we were doing something and I noticed up on her shelf where she had a couple of trinkets.
Yeah.
Here was that marble. And it was just a cancer scare, not a cancer reality. And so
nice.
It ended up being very nice. And I
good.
was really concerned. But in a way that the program wasn't built for. And I'll be honest, the rest of the day, I'm like, I don't have a marble. And because I had already...
You were a little anxious about it, huh?
I was a little bit anxious
That's
about it. It is something that I haven't missed. And I just felt good about it. And, if you think about thoughts and prayers, what are you committing? You're committing your energy and your best intent. And so for me, it was just a very small physical token of my best intent.
Yeah.
And, my energy with you and my care and concern. And I think it was received that way. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but that one was...
I remember that story,
interesting.
And I felt like it was very meaningful.
Yeah.
Very meaningful, as a matter of fact. So, I think we're at our 20 minutes. How time flies when we're having fun. Boil it down into...
Well, let me give you one more quick story.
Okay.
At the risk of us going over just a little.
That's fine.
I had all my marbles were gone. And so
Yeah.
what do you do with marbles? And I was like, well, I'm not going to reuse them because I've prayed in them and I've carried them and I've tried not to lose them and tried to keep them in the right. I went and bought these little blue kind of satiny bags that have the little ribbon drawstrings. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And what I decided was, and I went in on New Year's Eve for all of my staff. I wrote a little note about, thanks for being a part of my good days. Thanks for being a major part of the great days. And thanks for putting up with me on my bad days. And I put that note on the little bag of marbles. And so when they all came in on the first, on their desk, they each had a little bag of marbles
That's
from
fun.
the previous year.
Yeah.
And I think for the majority, I think that was a very meaningful thing to come into. And this year, instead of buying bulk marbles, I did it again. And instead of having 365, I actually have the work days.
Yeah.
So it's more accurate. But I bought the marbles from an artist. So my marbles this year, half are stone and half are, and it's pretty fun actually, because now they're
Very interesting.
a little fancier. But it just became a very interesting part of my daily cadence and my daily reminder that as a leader of the organization, my job is to create the right environment.
Yeah.
And it just
The
helps
environment
me
for good days.
get into that headspace and stay into that headspace.
That's awesome. Well, one, thank you for sharing your story. I feel like this is something that you really created, but it had such a meaningful impact on so many people as part of your team. So I think it's great. It shows your creativity. It also, shows your personality as a leader. And I just think it's wonderful. So thanks for sharing the story.
No, you're about.
Yeah.
Trying not to lose my marbles.
Well, don't lose your marbles.
Well, thanks for joining us. Hopefully that was fun. Feel free to comment. And if you have a similar process, happy to learn about it.
Yeah. I think that would be wonderful to share. And how do you be intentional as a leader in starting and ending your days? Which is wonderful.
Very good.
Thanks, Robbie.
Thank you, Becky.
Yeah.
Thanks all. Have a great day.
Have a great day.